All right, we have a little bit of a plot twist here in NFL free agency. A good morning and a happy Saturday to everybody. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. Kyle Juszczyk, one of the best fullbacks of all time, back with the San Francisco 49ers, surprisingly, on a 2-year, $8 million contract according to reports, and he will continue what has been a tremendous career with the San Francisco 49ers. Hope everybody out there is waking up, getting ready to have a wonderful weekend, and I just want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in to all of our shows throughout the week. This is our 16th show of the week as far as a long-form video up on the channel. We went live also 5 straight days, Monday through Friday, and I did 15 YouTube shorts. So if you want coverage like this and you haven't subscribed, you're not alive. Hit that sub button right now, and let's continue to build something special here on the 49ers Report. So, a lot of you probably woke up like me. You saw the notification, you saw the news, and then you wiped your eyes a little bit, and you were like, wait, this is actually really happening? It was just 5 days ago on March 10th, early on in free agency, when the 49ers released fullback Kyle Juszczyk, and they allowed him to become a free agent. And at that time, you're thinking, okay, after all of these players left, a mass exodus, the 49ers are really serious about gutting this roster. After letting go of all of these marquee players, in which these players, formerly with the Niners, cashed in on a combined more than $300 million in NFL free agency. And after they released Juszczyk, you're thinking, okay, yeah, Niners are serious about really turning over this team. They're resetting things. And John Lynch's answer to my question at the NFL Combine about getting younger, clearing money, continued to be very, very real. And the move for the Niners at the time to move on from Juice was not easy. Think about what he's meant to this team, what he's meant to this organization, what he's meant to the Bay Area and this fan base. He came to the Niners with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch all the way back in 2017. That was after he started his career with the Baltimore Ravens. And he was a part of this Niners rebuild. San Francisco, with Shanahan and Lynch, tore it down to the studs. Juszczyk was a part of that. They wanted to bring him in as a culture changer and a really good player. And over the years, he was on this Niners team early on under Lynch and Shanahan that was terrible in 2017 and 2018. He's a part of the team as a focal point in 2019 that gets the number 1 seed in home field advantage in the NFC. They make it to the Super Bowl. Should have won that game against Kansas City. The first ever Super Bowl championship for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But throughout his tenure, Juice has played in every single big game that the Niners have had. And he's been a part of an organization that during his stint has gone to 4 NFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls over the last 6 years. He's been a consummate pro, team leader, a culture setter, tone setter, and one of the best fullbacks of all time. He's been durable, tough, talented player. And he's been important to what the Niners do. As a blocker within this offense, sometimes everybody wants to focus on what he does on the stat sheet, but when you're playing the role that he plays, it's not a glorified role by any means. So when the Niners moved on from him earlier this week, it was a big deal. He then took a visit with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and once again, that's an indication that he's gone. And then on West Coast time, extremely early this morning on this Saturday, Kyle Juszczyk returns to the Niners on a 2-year, $8 million deal. And look, that is not chump change. That is sizable, good money. And I don't think that in 2025, paying a fullback $4 million per year is needed in today's NFL, especially when you can find, if you want a fullback, a UDFA for like $400,000, and then you can allocate those dollars elsewhere if the Niners really want to focus on shedding costs, getting younger, and rebuilding this team. But clearly here, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and the 49ers see tons of value in bringing Juszczyk back after releasing him. And I guess it seems as though they had a change of heart as they bring him back. So this is surprising with everything that I said. And then especially after the Niners signed Luke Farrell. Luke Farrell is one of the top blocking tight ends in the NFL. And he got $11 million in guaranteed money, more than $20 million over 3 years. And you're thinking, all right, you trade away Deebo Samuel, you sign Luke Farrell, you have missed the likes of Charlie Warner and Ross Dwelly as blocking tight ends because your backup tight ends last year could not block. It really hurt the run game. But after trading Deebo, bringing in Luke Farrell, you're going to allow George Kittle to run more routes. Maybe you go less 21 personnel, more 12 personnel. But now Juszczyk is back, and it seems as though Kyle Shanahan is not going to change that portion of his offensive philosophy. So, this offseason for the Niners and in free agency continues to be very puzzling. Because after you saw what the Philadelphia Eagles did in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, that's the blueprint. Beating up teams in the trenches. Offensive line play, defensive line play. But the Niners, right now, have a bottom 10 offensive line and a bottom 5 defensive line. They are not good enough in the trenches. And the re-signing of Kyle Juszczyk doesn't make you much better as a football team because you still have grave concerns and big needs on this team with not a lot of great players left on the free agency market, and you could have allocated this money elsewhere. It is not a shot at Kyle Juszczyk. I've complimented him over and over again. I've spoken glowingly about him here on this show. But with the Niners' plan and the moves that they've made to bring Juszczyk back doesn't make a ton of sense. Now, on his previous contract, he was set to count $6.5 million against the 2025 cap. That contract also featured void years through 2028, costing an extra $1.6 or so million against the cap in 2026. This deal should lower that number. As far as his usage, Juszczyk had lined up more as a tight end last year, with the Niners putting an increased emphasis on the drop back game and 11 personnel sets. That's 1 running back, 3 receivers, and 1 tight end. According to Pro Football Focus, Juszczyk played as an inline tight end on 191 snaps. He played 200 snaps in the backfield, 96 in the slot, 50 out wide. When he's in the slot and he's out wide, he's more of a decoy guy. And now with Luke Farrell, you're going to have Farrell, Kittle, Juszczyk on the field in a lot of heavy sets to try to have more success in the ground game, which I could see the Niners thinking there, but the offensive line just isn't good enough, man. It's just not good enough. At left guard, it's going to be Spencer Burford, Ben Bartch, or a rookie. I like Ben Bartch. Burford has potential. He's never put it together. At right guard, you have Dominic Pooney. You're not nearly good enough at center. I know John Feliciano said Jake Brendel was a part of a team as the starting center that made it to the Super Bowl in the NFC Championship game. It's not good enough, man. He gets pushed around by some of the top defensive linemen in the NFL. If you were to put Jalen Carter or Milton Williams or Jordan Davis on Jake Brendel, he's not holding his own. And then at right tackle, you're not good enough either with Colton McKivitz. So the issue with the Niners team building strategy, they've invested along the defensive line. Some of the moves haven't worked out, but they've tried to be cheap and creative with a lack of spending along the offensive line, and it's just not good enough. Juszczyk feels as though he has gas left in the tank. He said after the year, quote, "I know I'm not done." He's 33, about to be 34. He said, "I'm definitely not done playing. I've seen zero regression. I think especially you could turn on the last 2 games and show me where I've regressed. So I have no plans of stopping." And to his credit, I mean, he's aging really, really well. you really haven't seen a lot of signs of him slowing down. He had one bad play this year where he fumbled on the goal line against the Buffalo Bills in the snow. Niners weren't winning that game. But this continues to be a really impressive career for him. Fullbacks are becoming the dinosaurs of the NFL. There aren't a lot of them left, which is why I don't think it's a huge need to have to give them $4 million per year, $8 million over 2. But give credit where credit is due. I mean, the guy's been in the league since 2013. First team All-Pro in 2023. Second team All-Pro in 2024. 9-time Pro Bowler consecutively from 2016 through 2024. And then you want to give him some props for what he did in college. Not many guys go to Harvard and then they play more than a decade in the NFL at a really high level. 2-time first team All-Ivy in 2011, 2012. My dad went to Brown. I didn't get those Ivy League smarts, but at least I can talk football here. But yeah, Niners offseason continues to be a little bit puzzling. Offensive line, defensive line, just huge question marks at those positions for San Francisco. And Juszczyk is back. There just have to be more moves made. And this draft becomes huge for the Niners. Not just this year, next year as well. All right, have a great rest of your Saturday. Wanted to hop on, talk some Niners here. Different backdrop, obviously. Had to help some family, friends, and letting their dogs out. Had to handle that. And then had to hop on, do this video. Content never stops, especially when you have a huge platform like this, reaching millions of people. You got to provide for the faithful, man. And that's what I'm doing. And at this point, wherever I go, I'm carrying around a laptop and a microphone, and I don't mind it because talking football, it's been a dream that I've had since I was 5 years old. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. Hit that sub button. Thanks for your continued support. And with the way things go in free agency, I'll see you soon.